Welcome to Solo Travel Adventures, my sisters. Don't let fear hold you back from traveling alone. I want you to gather your courage, listen to inspiring stories, and learn how to travel solo while safely navigating new places from this show. I'm Cheryl Esch, solo travel advocate and travel coach, and I want you to have a transformative experience when you travel solo. So pack your bags, book your flight, and check one more time for that passport. It's time to explore the world. Well, hello, sisters. How is 2023 shaping up for you? Have you made those travel plans yet for this year? You can refer to episode 6, where I talk about making those plans, setting those goals, and getting that trip in this year. But maybe you come up with the excuse of, I just can't afford it. And legitimately, that might be the case. But most cases, I find that that is an excuse, or there are ways that you can save, and people just aren't really hardcore about their budget. Always ask the question, well, how important is travel to you? How important is it to have these adventures? And by using the crutch of I can't afford it, then, that someday never happens. When we really evaluate and take a deep dive into what we're willing to sacrifice and how bad do you really want it? And if you want it that badly, then you're going to make some changes in your lifestyle so that you can afford to take a trip this year. So I'm going to share with you 10 ways that you can save right now so that you can get that money to have your wonderful travel adventure. So did you know that if you spend $13.70 per day on stuff you don't need, or that Starbucks coffee, which I'll get to in a moment, you could be saving $5,000 a year. $5,000 can get you a really nice trip. So what are you spending that you don't need to be spending, right? Evaluating $13.70. What that is for me is a meal, eating out a meal for me. All right. So kind of looking at, there's 10 things you can look at to save money now, things that you can stop spending money on, right? And put that money aside into a travel savings account, which I highly recommend. Now, maybe you are fine and you have a really good job and you're able to just budget and just being committed to that budgeting. When I had a really well-paying salaried job at a corporate office, I designated every single paycheck I was putting a certain amount of money aside for my travels. So if that's you, then maybe you don't need to listen to these 10 ways to save right now, but maybe you want to save a little extra, and these could be some good tidbits for you to apply to your spending. All right, so first thing, I know many people love their Starbucks and they go out and they buy their coffee every morning. Or maybe it's just not Starbucks. Maybe it is another coffee shop that you go to. And that is a nice place to go if you are working remotely and you want a little change of pace. But thinking about spending, I don't know, a few dollars, $6, $7 or whatever a day on your coffee can really add up. So why not make it at home? All right. I make mine at home and it's so much cheaper in the long run, of course, and I get to make it how I want it. So I get to have that flavor that I want. I do like mine sometimes a little stronger, so I let it brew a little longer. I get to add what I want to it and not have to worry about them not having those added things that I like at the store. So cut back on that, folks. Save yourself some money and just do it at home. And that goes for, maybe you're not a coffee drinker, but you tend to buy bottled water outside of the home. Cut that out because you think, it's $2.50 maybe for a bottle of water each time. And in addition to the environment, you're producing that extra plastic and those one-use containers. Take a bottle of water with you, meaning maybe a glass container, or I like to use my stainless steel ones And I take water with me everywhere. So that could be a way to save even more money in that sort of buying your beverages outside of the home. So get those, take that out of your budget and go ahead and save some money and put that back in your pocket. This next one, I like to just say, what are your addictive devices? So number 2 is, I kind of put cigarettes and alcohol together. There may be other addictive devices that you commonly will use. So cut those out, folks. All right. Cigarettes are bad for you anyways. And all right. So this is going to tell you how old I am, but, I remember the last time I bought a pack of cigarettes. Yes. I was in college and I was a little snob. So I bought some higher end cigarettes, and I think what I paid then, was like maybe $1.99 a pack or so. Well, I did not realize, I had to look it up, but cigarettes right now range from about $6.65 a pack to $11 or in New York. Okay, so they're more expensive in New York depending on where you live. So on an average, someone will pay about $8 a pack. Now, if you are maybe a 2-pack a week smoker, that's quite a chunk of change that you are forking out, and that actually comes to about $832 a year. You could put that towards your travel account there. Okay, that's actually a very nice amount that you could put towards airfare. That can get you a nice flight somewhere internationally. I can get some cheaper, but that could be about a medium price for an international flight. So look at that. You could save on that. Other addictive devices might be alcohol. Now, I don't drink a whole lot of alcohol, and that's for many reasons. But what has happened lately for me is I have noticed that my body just doesn't like it. And for me, being in menopause, I noticed that I don't sleep well when I drink alcohol. I get those hot flashes at night when I drink alcohol. So for me, sleep is important. I cut that out. Plus, it is money that I don't need to be spending to feel lousy. All right. But if you are one of those ones that has to have your glass of wine every night when you get home from work, then there might be a deeper problem that might need to be addressed as to why you are going to that vice to unwind or relax. That there might be some more involved there that you might have to do a little deep dive in your personal life to figure that out. So ways to save money. That was number 2, your addictive devices. Okay. Number 3, this is a tough one for me because I have fallen into this very easily as a single person now. I was eating out a lot. You know, you get tired. You don't want to have to cook for yourself a lot of times. Plus, I'm learning how to cook. I'm not the greatest, but I do stuff at home now. And I was eating out about 3 or 4 times a week. Oh my gosh. And each meal was about $13, like that amount that if you spend per day, you'll get to $5,000. But so that really hit me hard. And so now I've got it down to only eating out once a week. And that has saved so much money. Learning how to, prep my meals at home has been very helpful. And it's tough because I do work at night. So, I get home sometimes just don't feel like making anything. So having something prepared beforehand. So a lot of prep needs to go into that to avoid eating out. Because if you're not prepared, then that's usually what happens. We grab something quick. Maybe we didn't bring snacks with us when we were out. And so we get hungry and you have to stop somewhere. So that one is a big one for me. And so I've got it down to 1 day a week. And that's kind of nice, a nice little treat for yourself possibly. All right. Reduce that. If you're eating out a lot like me, you got to reduce that so you're saving money. Number 4, what kind of memberships do you have? And you might think, well, I don't really have any memberships, but maybe you have a gym membership, right? Or you have a monthly massage membership, or a cryo membership, or maybe you belong to a boutique fitness studio. Now, I shouldn't be saying this because I actually work for a boutique fitness studio, but those can run about $200 a month for those memberships, depending on the scale. Some are more, some are a little less. And I'm not telling you to quit working out. Certainly not. Do not. But could you reduce that? Could you find other ways? For example, I don't have any of these memberships. And for a gym, because I do work out, my apartment does have a small gym, but I also have all my own stuff in my apartment. I have hand weights, I have TRX straps, I have lots of props that allow me to work out at home. Now you might say, well, I'm not motivated to do that on my own, or I can't think of exercises to do. There are so many programs or videos out there that you could participate in and also even be held accountable and have a regular schedule set. Or even just if you're in the boutique fitness studio, could you downgrade just to a lesser membership level just to keep yourself working out, but just maybe not spending as much? And please note, with all these ideas of how to save, it's not that you have that extra money in your account where you can spend it on other things. I'm encouraging you to put it aside. So for example, let's say you do have a fitness boutique membership and you're paying about $229 a month for this membership, but you decide to downgrade and now you're only paying maybe $129. So you're saving $100 a month. So instead of leaving that $100 in your account for other things like those cute little boots that you saw last week, put it aside into that travel account right away. As soon as that payment comes out for that boutique fitness, that should have been $229. Well, I get $100 of that to put into my travel account. Okay. So memberships can really add up, folks. So get creative on how you can reduce those. Can you get rid of your massage membership monthly thing and just do it occasionally? All right. So these are different ways to start saving money. Number 5, this one we kind of lose track of. How many streaming video services do you have? All right, I got rid of all mine. I actually don't even have a TV, which does save me a lot of time and money. But these add up because we don't keep track of them. And Netflix has gotten up to about $16.99 a month now, I believe. And there's also Hulu. There is Disney Channel. So there's lots of different video streaming services that maybe you are a part of, but you're not really participating or using. Plus, do you really need them? I mean, the other question is, why are you binge watching or just sitting every night in front of your TV watching Netflix, right? What else could you be doing that's more beneficial or profitable for yourself? So look at those, see what those are hitting your account every month, get rid of them. Think of other ways that you could, if you like to watch movies or videos, to do it for free. Maybe you're like me. I do have my Amazon Prime membership, and included in that is the Amazon Prime video, and that's included in that fee. So I don't like to pay extra, so I just try to watch, if I want to watch something that's free and offered through Prime Video, so that's included in that membership. So something to consider. All right, this next one, number 6. This one also is something over the years I've had to really pay attention to. I love books. So I would also buy books, all right, which can get expensive because last year I read 46 books. So you can imagine buying 46 books. Well, I didn't buy 46 books. I think actually I only bought 1 or 2 last year. I did use the library to get my books for free. So maybe that's a resource you can use if you are a book lover like myself. Because actually after I buy my books, they either collect dust, I might pass them on to somebody else. And you don't get much for selling them back, to be honest. So just something to consider, using those resources, those free resources that are available to you. If you like books, maybe that's you. You can borrow books from friends as well. I've done that where I've looked at their bookshelves and we've exchanged books there. There's also those little free library books, little set up in different neighborhoods and different parts of town. Maybe you have one and you can go check it out and see if there's something you like and something you could give back as well. So reduce that. Don't buy books, plus they accumulate and only collect dust typically. All right, next one. Oh gosh, this one kind of bothers me because I mean, I'm not a part of it, but I've seen people spend so much money on this every month. This is a monthly service of a box that is delivered to you. Yeah, there's many of them. There's Stitch Fix or other clothing deliveries. There is something for your dog called the Bark Box. Monthly you get some treats and some toys for your dog, but really, do you need that? And then maybe you got maybe that monthly cosmetic box or the monthly meals, monthly soap. I did do the monthly essential oils, but I quit that several months ago. Back in the fall, I stopped participating in that because it was expensive, and there was some months I was spending about $200 on essential oils and such. And I realized I have so much to use up that I probably won't need to buy any essential oils for probably the next year. So getting rid of those kind of monthly services will save you money. So for example, maybe a Stitch Fix is, I think I've seen some for about $85, maybe $100 a month. Maybe the cosmetic thing gets maybe about $50. But if you add that all up, and my essential oils were sometimes $200, that can really add up to some savings, folks, that you can put into this travel account that you are setting up, right? We have that set up already, right? And we're putting money into it. So there's no more excuses, all right? So talking about excuses, you can refer to episode 10 where I talk about the 3 excuses people give for not being able to travel right now. So let's not fall into those. And another one, monthly pedicures and manicures. Oh, folks, yes, it is so nice to have that done. It is a luxury, people, but it's an expensive luxury. That's probably, if you're getting both of them done, that's roughly about $100 a month you're spending. I would say do it yourself. All right. I don't do manicures, but I do like a pedicure every once in a while. I do treat myself about twice, maybe 3 times a year to a pedicure. All right. In between that, I do it myself. Okay. And you just have to go to Walmart, get a little $1.99 bucket to soak your feet, use some Epsom salts, and, get the right sort of utensils or tools to help, with that pedicure or manicure. Doing it yourself will save money, folks. All right. This next one is a little rough. It's a little tough. It's number 9. It is downsize your expenses. Now, this really takes a bit of diving into being honest with yourself, folks, of what are you really spending? What is your true budget? All right. And look at those ancillary miscellaneous things that pop up. And downsize your expenses could mean, are you spending more on your house or apartment than you can really afford? Being honest with yourself. Okay. Could you downsize that? Maybe you're stuck in a house payment and you can't. All right. But if you're in an apartment, maybe you can consider getting a smaller or a cheaper apartment. What about your car? Are you spending way too much on a car note? All right. You shouldn't have one anyways. Maybe buy a cheaper car. I'm very blessed to have my car paid off, and that's a wonderful feeling. And even when I've had to get loans for vehicles that I've purchased, I've usually paid them off within about 2 to 3 years at most. So that's a great luxury. I don't have that car payment anymore. So that does save me several $100s a month, right? Because car payments can be pretty expensive. So maybe even buying a used car. Looking at maybe cheaper car insurance. Shop around. They do go up every year, yes. So, but if you, after a few years, you start changing or you threaten to change, sometimes your insurance company will come down or find ways to come down. Cheaper cell phone. Again, I'm looking into this for myself because Verizon just seems to keep increasing every year or every month. Sometimes it seems like my bill goes up and I'm not sure why. So I'm looking into that. I know there are cheaper versions. Depends on what kind of reliability you are needing, maybe for your job. So do consider that. But there are ways to downsize your living expenses. So take a little look at that. Go over it with a fine-tooth comb and be really honest with yourself. Are you overspending in certain areas? I'm trying to remember the statistic, but I think Dave Ramsey, I believe your living expenses, now I could be wrong, shouldn't be really more than, I think it's 40? It depends on how much you're making. 45% of your income. So if you're spending, let's just say 50% more, like if you're spending more than 50% on your living expenses, meaning your mortgage, household kind of stuff, then you're probably overpaying for that kind. And that will include like your electric and that kind of stuff. All right. Final tip to help you save money now, and this is something I've been doing actually for years to just as a process of decluttering as well, but you can sell any unused or unwanted stuff for extra cash. We all have those items laying around our house that we don't use, haven't used for years, and probably never will likely use again. So like some examples, although I love kayaking, we at one point in our family owned 2 kayaks. I could count on my hand the number of times that we actually used them. And part of the reason is they were fishing kayaks, so they were a lot heavier, they were bigger, and it required 2 to 3 people to get the 2 of them up on the rack on top of the vehicle, and it was heavy and cumbersome, and it just was a hassle, more of a hassle to get that set up to just go kayaking for a little bit. So we ended up selling them and making some extra cash. So there's different ways, even little things that you can sell that you can possibly make money with. And that way you can put that money, again, don't just put it back into your regular checking account to spend however you'd like. Put it into that travel account, folks. All right. So I gave you 10 ways to save now. But now it's up to you to really evaluate. Do you really want to go on that trip? How badly do you want that? Or do you like just staying in your comfort zone or cozy, I'll say entitled way of living, with all your eating out, your memberships, your streaming videos, your monthly services, your pedicures, all right, and sipping your wine and chilling out at Netflix every night, all right? That's not a life to remember. I like to create experiences and memories. What you do in your day-to-day is not going to be very memorable. And so I'm going to encourage you to really evaluate. This is going to be some deep soul searching possibly for some of you. Maybe some of you are like, yeah, I'm all on board. I'm going to do this. I'm going to tackle some of these points and start saving money now. Because you can get to that point where you have that $5,000 so you can get to that trip this year. So look at those 10 points. See which ones hit home for you. All right. For me, it was the eating out. That's a tough one for me. And I really have to be mindful and diligent every week about that too, so that I am not overspending in that area. So folks, I hope that this has encouraged you to really look into your lifestyle and how you could possibly change that so that you have the ability and you can throw away the excuse that, I can't afford to travel right now. Well, there are ways, and there might be truth to maybe you really can't afford. Maybe you are living paycheck to paycheck. But there are still ways to possibly start to save little bites at a time. I know when I was not making as much, maybe trying to get out of debt at the same time, I still was putting away, even though it was very little. It started with just $50 a month, and then it moved to $100 a month. And eventually that you start to see your travel account grow. And then that gets exciting because then you can start planning for that wonderful adventure. So again, what is on your bucket list for this year to get to? And have you started that planning? And refer to episode 6 if you're looking for tips on travel goals and trying to get there for yourself. Sisters, thank you so much for listening. I am looking for women like you who would like to share their travel stories on my show. And these would be stories of maybe your first solo travel that you did, and sharing that experience with my listeners. If you are interested in sharing your story, please leave me your information through my SpeakPipe link, which is in the show notes, and a way to get in touch with you so that we can chat and get your story out there to all the other listeners. I look forward to it. I love hearing people's stories because everybody's got an exciting story about their travels. So sisters, be bold, be fearless, take that leap, and let's go on that adventure. Hey, sister travelers, did this podcast inspire and encourage you or move you to get out there and travel? Wonderful. There are 3 ways you can thank me. First one is leave a written review for the show on Apple Podcast. 2, share the show with your sister travelers, your friends, your family. And 3, subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. And thank you again for listening to the show. Sisters, be fearless, take the leap, and get out there and have an adventure.